going on, YouTube? It's Colossal Tugboat here with another Madden 21 rebuild. Today, we're bringing you the Minnesota Vikings. This is being recorded the day that Yannick Ngakoue got traded to the Vikings. It may release a few days later, but as I woke up this morning, just finishing the Chargers rebuild last night, and I was thinking, who am I going to do next? I had a couple ideas, a couple suggestions. I wanted to do the Jaguars because in my opinion, they're a little bit more on the interesting end. But there's a lot of people doing the Jaguars right now, so we'll get to them here shortly. Definitely going to be an interesting team to rebuild because there's not much there currently, but a lot coming in the future. So if you're a Jaguars fan, you got a lot to look forward to, I think. The Vikings definitely are interesting at kind of overlooking their roster. They've got a decent mix of youth with veteran presence. There's going to be some decisions need to be made. I hope it goes better than the Chargers rebuild. Obviously, I don't know how this is going to go. I thought the Chargers rebuild would have been great, but 2 out of the 3 years were just absolute terrible years. So we're going to definitely take what we learned out of that one and move it over to this one and hope for a better product. I think this team, I'd like to say it's better, but I really think it's kind of the same. There's good pieces throughout, and there's a lot you can add to it. But with this trade for the Vikings, it's really going to mess up their future. With the Chargers, I wasn't really hurting too much for draft picks or anything. Obviously, I kind of messed up the cap, so it is what it is. This cap for this team, since there's so many older people, is going to be a bit tighter. We're going to have to make more decisions, but it is what it is. Before we get into the video, I just want to thank everybody who's been checking out the videos, leaving likes, leaving comments, subscribing, all that stuff. If you haven't already, be sure and subscribe to the channel right there. Turn on the notifications. That way you can see whenever we go live. And I'd really appreciate that. All the support on all the other platforms would be great too. And then obviously, if you're looking to get some raised energy, use code Colossal Tugboat at checkout. Get some money off your order. Help support me. That would be awesome. So without further ado, let's get into the rebuild. The biggest point that needs to be made, doesn't really need to be made, it's kind of obvious, but is right here, the trade. Jacksonville Jaguars traded Yannick Ngakoue to the Vikings for a 2021 second-round pick and a conditional 2022 fifth-round pick. In this article, it kind of goes over the conditions, it's stuff that we aren't going to be able to control in the game here. It was like, if he makes the Pro Bowl, then it's going to be a 4th-round pick instead of a 5th. And then if he makes the Pro Bowl and the Vikings win the Super Bowl, it's going to be a 3rd-round pick. So spoiler alert, it's probably going to be a 4th-round pick. But, maybe the Vikings surprise everybody. Hopefully in our sim. But as far as that goes, we're just going to do the trade straight up for a 2nd and a 5th. I've already got Yannick on the team. I edited the roster in the main menu, but I need to send them over my draft picks. So I'm going to do that really quick, and I'll catch back up with you after I get that done. And there we go. So we're going to trade our 2nd-round pick for this coming year, the 5th-round pick for the next year. Like I said, I'm not going to worry about it too much. The 5th is what they traded. I can't make conditional picks on here, so it is what it is. Then that tight end we're getting back is obviously only 26 overall. He was who I had to trade for Yannick in the main menu, so we'll bring him back to the team. He's going to get cut anyways, but that way we aren't giving up anything for that. And we don't have to deal with cap penalties. So looking at the roster, there is one more thing that we're going to do on this article that I had pulled up, which I'll pull up again. It does say right here that he agreed to a 1-year, $12 million deal with the Vikings instead of his franchise tender. So to keep this as realistic as we can, we're going to go ahead and edit back his cap. We're going to make it match that, so that way we aren't spending an extra $6 million. I'm sure this will all update on Madden eventually, but we want to get it done now so we can do this rebuild. So 1 year, $12 million. That way we can match the contract that he's actually on now. And then going from there, we'll take a look at the team overall. Like I said, kind of looking at it, it's an 81 overall team. I can't remember. I kind of think the Chargers started off a little bit higher because they've got some better defensive players, in my opinion. But this team's really solid. Like, there's a lot to work with here. We obviously have Kirk Cousins, who is 32 years old, 82 overall star development. We can use him for a couple more years with the contract extensions that he's had. I want to say he has 2 or 3 more years left on his current deal. I guess I can look at that right now. But by the end of it, for sure, I'm not a big Kirk Cousins fan anyways, so he does have 3 years remaining. Very, very big contract. We're going to want to move off of that at least the last year and there's no evident backup. There's Sean Mannion and Jake Browning. So we got no backup options. So I would say, if not this year, then definitely the next year, we're going to need to look at a quarterback for sure. No later than next year. That way we can start developing him, getting him ready for whatever we do eventually get rid of Kirk Cousins, because it'll be soon. We have X Factor 91 overall Dalvin Cook, just an absolute beast. Only 25 years old. Yep. Only 25 years old. Got some good stats. 92 speed, 92 acceleration, 94 agility. Carrying, ball carrier, everything's great. Good, solid running back. We should have him for majority of the rebuild, if not all of it. By the end, he'll be about 30, 31, so we might move off of him, but it is what it is. He's doing all right. So he'll be here for a long time. Adam Thielen, a little bit interesting. 90 overall X Factor. He is 30. Probably a couple years in, we'll be looking to move off of him, but we're going to try and get as much out of him as we can. His contract, he's got 5 years left. So, I mean, technically he's here for the whole rebuild. We'll see how he regresses in a couple years. He's an X Factor, so it shouldn't be as bad. But we want to keep an eye on that. We do have Tajay Sharp, who is just kind of filler. We're going to definitely want to step Justin Jefferson, the big rookie, up with his hidden development. I'd be interested to see if they got him in the slot already, because I think that's where we're going to have him. But he can obviously easily play the number 2 receiver, number 1 receiver eventually when he gets good enough. Outside of them three, really just them two, Thielen and Jefferson, there's not much to work with. Sharp's serviceable, but not a long-term option. The one thing that we got going for us versus the Chargers rebuild, and it might take a year or two, but we got a solid offensive line already. 4, maybe all 5 of these guys could be here the whole rebuild, just depending on how they do. Reef is 31, or 30 or 31? Yeah, 31. So it'll be kind of based on how he does. If he holds his own, he's only 71. He's not going to get much higher, really. So he's going to be replaced very early on. But Elfline, Bradbury, both star developments, 26, 25 years old. Drew Samia, did I get his name right? Yeah, Drew Samia, 23 years old. So he, as long as we keep him starting and he's not just absolutely letting Kirk Cousins die, we should be able to develop him. And then Brian O'Neill usually develops fairly well. He's only 24. I could see us getting up to a star dev with him if he does well. Tight end, we got the long-lasting Kyle Rudolph. Always solid, Superman. But he's getting up there in age. 96 catching, 90 awareness. He's good. I don't know how many years he has left on his contract. I'm not really going to look. But if I'm being honest, I'm going to want Irv Smith Jr. to get as much reps as possible, because Rudolph's not going to be here that long. Whether his contract expires or we ship him off, whatever that might be. I'm a huge Irv Smith fan in this game. He is really good. He sims well. So I think that's definitely the best option for us right now. Taking a look at the defense, obviously we have Mr. Yannick Ngakoue lining up across from Daniil Hunter now. The people in between them are not good. 69, 67 overall, normal developments. We got a lot of work we need to do on the defensive tackle position. Definitely going to be, I would say, number 1 priority. The only thing that might come close is getting another quarterback. But, I mean, that's not good. As far as ages, 29 years old and 26. So we need to get some youth. We need to get some big boys in there. Check out some trades, something. We'll have to see. It could be tough. But cornerbacks, we got a star development 75 overall in Mike Hughes, only 23. He's going to lead us into the future. He will be here the whole time. Holton Hill, also 23. If he develops nicely, he could be a good staple for our 1-2. And then the rookie Jeff Gladney that they brought in should be good as well. The corners don't look good, but they're all young. They should develop fine. We just need to provide depth behind them, and then we should be good. Not too worried about it. Anthony Harris here, 83 overall, star dev. Pretty solid free safety. Should do well for us. Should be here most of the way through the rebuild, maybe towards the end, move off of him, but we'll have to see. Right outside linebacker definitely needs an upgrade. Ben Gideon's not bad, but he is not going to be the answer to this problem. So Ben Gideon's going to maybe be depth, but not a starter. We have Eric Wilson here, not much better. So we'll have to look at the draft for that. Draft, free agency, one of the two. see what we can do there. We have superstar Eric Kendricks in the middle, 28 years old. Very, very good stats. Will be a beast for us. He should be here most of the time, as well as Anthony Barr. Both of them 28 years old. Both of them really good. Barr, we might move off of, but Kendricks should be here the whole time. And then Harrison Smith, 31 years old, X Factor, 95 overall, an absolute beast, but he's not long for this rebuild. So we'll have to take a look as he regresses and gets closer to his contract expiring to figure out what we're going to do with him. Special teams, I don't care too much about. It does already have Justin Jefferson in the slot, which is good. Dalvin Cook's handling all of our running back spots. Slot corner is going to be Holton Hill. And we got, obviously, Danielle Hunter, Yannick Ngakoue rushing the passer with Anthony Zettel, and Eric Kendricks filling up our sub linebacker spot. So starting off the season, we're still in the preseason, actually. We'll go ahead and sim to the regular season. I can't think of too much I think we really need to do. Let's take a look and see who's on the free agent block, see if there's anybody we might be able to snipe, specifically defensive tackles, because I don't want to say we're in a win now mode, but we kind of are. Because a lot of these guys are older, or I'm not a huge fan of what they bring to the table for us. So as a Colts fan, Tyquan Lewis looks pretty nice. Hasn't done much in real life, but not really too much of an upgrade. Apparently we cut Shamar Stevens, so that means that our defensive tackle is actually thinner than it was. Let's see what we're looking at. Oh my God, they cut two of our best. Wait, why was Michael Pierce buried? I was about to say, there's no way that the Vikings are that bad. What is going on here? Throw Michael Pierce up there. Throw Zettel up there. Just best overalls. I don't know why that glitched out like that. So that looks better than we thought. Michael Pierce should be here most of the time. They brought him in from the Ravens, I think. So that's a pleasant surprise. So the fact that we cut Shamar Stevens, not too bad. We'll be all right. But we still definitely need to at least bring in another defensive tackle to help shore that up. Not as urgent of a need, though, as I thought. So we'll go ahead, spin these upgrade points, just auto do it. Check out our season goal. We got a pretty good roster. I'm going to go, we got the Packers, the Bears, and the Lions in our division. I could honestly see us making the playoffs our first year. I think we got a strong chance to contend. We've got our solid roster. I'm not making any scheme changes or anything just yet. We're going to see how they do year one and kind of go from there. Take one last look at the roster. Like I said, the real only big change we made was starting Irv Smith over Kyle Rudolph. I like it. I think we'll be good. So we're going to go ahead and sim through to, like I said, like I usually do, about week 6, week 7. Check, see how things are going, see if we need to make any trades, and go from there. So I'll see you guys then. So week 7 was our bye. We went ahead and made it to week 8. Trade deadline is passing this week. So if we need to make any trades, we got to do it now. I'm looking at our overall. We are 2-3-1, which is a bit interesting. I didn't see who all we played yet. The Packers right there are 3-3. So if they're number 1, we're most likely number 2. In our division, we're actually number 3. Not too far off from 4th. Players ready to negotiate. Let's take a look and kind of see how everybody's doing before we check the stats. We got Dalvin Cook, who we definitely, I believe, should bring back. Anthony Harris, obviously Yannick Ngakoue. We got to re-sign him. I mean, we can't give up that much and not re-sign him. Tajay Sharp, we can do better. Elfline, man, there's a lot of people we're going to need to re-sign. Ben Gideon, I think we can move off of. Zettel, we're going to have to draft well. We don't have a second-round pick this year, so that's going to be big. We're going to have to draft really well with what we got or see what free agency has. Steven Parker, might double-check his stats because we want to find a suitable replacement behind Harrison Smith. Other than that, though, so there's quite a bit at the front we're going to want to most likely bring back Dalvin Cook. We'll see. If he wants way too much money, then we're willing to pay him. I might just move on because the first year is pretty good for running backs in free agency. There's usually Aaron Jones, Alvin Kamara, a couple people like that. So we can always come back to that. But being an X factor, only 25, we're going to want to lock him up. Anthony Harris, I think we're going to want to re-sign also just because we're a little bit thin behind him. And we've got so many needs right now with the lack of a second round pick. We're going to want to shore it up. So he's only 28. It should be fine. Again, Ngakoue bring back. And we'll get into the rest of those later. So let's take a look at the stats. That way we can make sure that these people we want to bring back are even doing anything for our team. And Kirk Cousins, only 1,300 yards, 10 touchdowns, 2 picks, not bad. 13 sacks on the year. Not bad. Definitely not as many yards as I expected. We'll see. I hate Kirk Cousins, so I expect it. But for the purpose of this sim, we want him to do better. Dalvin Cook, 451 yards, 4 touchdowns, 4.3 yards per carry. He's doing well on his way to 1,000-yard season. Adam Thielen, 367 yards, 2 touchdowns, and Justin Jefferson almost mimicking the exact same production on a little bit less catches. 360 yards, 2 touchdowns, so he's doing well in the slot. Tajae Sharp's doing his thing. Irv Smith, only 16 catches, 160 yards, 1 touchdown. Kyle Rudolph still getting some grabs. So definitely would like to see more production out of our receivers, but that kind of starts with the quarterback. So Samia, Reef, and O'Neal are kind of giving up quite a bit of sacks, but nothing like we saw in the last rebuild for sure. Holton Hill's leading the team in tackles. He also has 1 INT, 1 pass deflection, so he's doing well. Eric Kendrick right behind him, and Anthony Barr just behind them as well. Sacks. Daniil Hunter's got 3. Yannick Ngakoue's got 2, so kind of putting on a performance. I still think those numbers should be higher, especially because Hunter's an X factor, but please just don't give me another sim where my 2 best guys or even 1 best guy gets only 6 sacks for 3 years in a row. I'll lose my mind. Other than that, we're not getting great production in the pass rushing game. So again, definitely a big need of ours for the draft, for free agency. I meant to check interceptions here. We got a couple. Harrison Smith has 4, so that's good. Very good. Holy cow. Holton Hill has 1. Anthony Barr has 1. So we're forcing some turnovers. Lastly, we'll check forced fumbles. Kendricks has 2, Harrison Smith 1, Eric Wilson 1. So we are forcing some turnovers. It looks like the defense is playing well, just the offense is not. Not much I think we can really do for the offense. Again, not much we have to trade for. We could check trade blocks, see if anybody's available, but I don't really know how that's going to help us in any way. Wide receivers, there's nobody we would want to trade for. So we're going to go ahead and with that, just sim through the rest of the season. Actually, we're going to work on some contracts first. Dalvin Cook, definitely need to lock him up. We're going to go ahead and throw him the fair offer. He's probably going to want more money. He doesn't. That's good. So we will take that. Welcome back, Mr. Cook. We got our running back locked up for the next 5 years. Anthony Harris, I didn't really check his stats. We'll come back. We'll check him at the end of the year. Like I said, most likely we'll re-sign him, but he's not a top priority. Again, obviously, Ngakoue, we're going to want him for the whole 5 years. He's excited. He's here. We got Mr. Yannick Ngakoue to come back. Tajae Sharp, not worried about. Pat Elflein, we'll throw you a 3-year deal and go from there. So we can hit you up on an extension about halfway through if you do well. Holton Hill, we're going to want to keep. He wanted more bonus, so we'll go back to the table with him as long as he doesn't try and drain our pockets. Other than that, honestly, everybody else can go hit free agency. So we'll come back for Holton Hill. We'll also take a look at Anthony Harris and catch back up then. I will see you at the end of the season. So far, this rebuild is going the exact same as our Chargers rebuild. Missed out on the playoffs first year. Went 7-8-1, just behind the Packers, a little bit ahead of the Lions, but the Bears kind of ran away with the division at 11-4-1. So that's a bit disappointing. Not a bit. That's actually really disappointing. Take a look at the stats. Kirk Cousins did not do well. 3,500 yards, 25 touchdowns, 7 picks. For the price that we're paying for Kirk, that needs to be closer to 40. Without a doubt, 4,000 yards, 40 touchdowns. That's just unacceptable in my opinion. Dalvin Cook, almost 1,200 yards on the year, 7 touchdowns. Glad to bring him back. Keep him part of this team for the long run. Adam Thielen with almost 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns, doing his thing. Justin Jefferson, the rookie, coming out with 57 catches, 850 yards basically, and 3 touchdowns. Not too bad. And then Tajae Sharp still had 711 yards, 2 touchdowns. Irv Smith, about 10 yards per catch, 457 yards off about 50 grabs, and 4 touchdowns. Not bad. I expected more, but I'll take it. Kyle Rudolph still getting some touches. Alexander Madison didn't do too bad in the past game. Not too bad. I blame a lot of that on the quarterback play because a lot of this season, because it doesn't look like those receivers did too bad. From a sack standpoint, Riley Reef gave up a ton. Everybody else did all right for the whole year. Elfline we brought back only gave up 2 sacks over 16 games, which is good to see. Good to see. And then defensively, Eric Kendricks led the way with 124 tackles, 3 TFLs, 1 INT, and I know he had a couple forced fumbles from earlier. Holton Hill had 114 tackles, 2 INTs. That is good. Anthony Barr just missed out on 100 tackles, but still a very good year. Sacks. Why is this a thing? Why are the best players in the game getting 4.5 and 3 sacks or 6 sacks in the last one? I don't get it, man. This is nuts. The sack production for the team went up across the board. Daniil Hunter led with 4.5 sacks. Odin Igbo, I butchered it. 4 sacks. Anthony Barr 3. Yannick with 3. So he came over and didn't really make that much of a difference. That's crazy to me. Enough of the sacks. INTs, Harrison Smith finished with 4. Mike Hughes with 2. Holton Hill 2. And then a couple 1s down there. So we forced some turnovers, did pretty well. But sack-wise, for some reason, with 2 of the best pass rushers in the game, we couldn't get to the quarterback. Blows my mind. I don't know how to explain it. But alas, we move on to next season. We'll go ahead and sim to the Super Bowl. I'm not even going to look and see if any of my guys made the Pro Bowl because I'm just going to be disappointed or see someone I don't want to see, i.e. Josh Rosen. View yearly awards. Cam Newton won the MVP, going 12-4 with that Patriots roster. Outdid Patrick Mahomes. We have nobody. Justin Herbert's on there. Good to see that. We are not on Coach of the Year as expected. Anybody? Kirk Cousins was apparently 8th in Offensive Player of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year, we had nobody. Justin Jefferson finished 2nd in O-Roy, so that's good. Nobody on D-Roy, okay. Best quarterback, Kirk Cousins was 9th. 5th best running back in Dalvin Cook. Not even an honorable mention on the best wide receiver for Adam Thielen. No good offensive lineman. We shouldn't have a single good defensive lineman because this whole sim is just stupid. Nobody best linebacker and nobody best... Oh, well, Harrison Smith, best defensive back, is on the list at number 5. Disappointing year 1. So we're going to go ahead and sim to the offseason, reevaluate where the team's at. Let's check out our free safety stats, Anthony Harris. See if we are looking to bring him back. He had 85 tackles, 2 TFLs, half a sack, no INTs, no forced fumbles. Did have a field goal block, it looks like. Let's see what he wants. Can't remember off the top of my head, but I'm not against bringing him back, but for the right price because we got some need. Actually, let's bring back Holton Hill first. He wanted more bonus. We'll give him $1.05 million, and we want to lock him up pretty much the whole time. He's happy now, up to a 75 overall. Anthony Harris, we've got no cap room, so free agency is not even going to be an option for us this year. He's not interested in re-signing. We could franchise tag him. I think we're just going to go see if we can pick him up, back up in free agency, and go from there. This is going to be a tough second year. I can already tell. So going to free agency, we have $9.5 million according to that. Also, according to this, that's good that it finally matches up. We could do what we did in the last one and give Marcus Williams a contract. He did pretty well for us, actually. Would be a huge upgrade, but we don't want to put all of our eggs in one basket necessarily. Per year, he wants about $6 million. Let's take a look and see. Earl Thomas is a free agent, of course. We don't really need him. Sheldon Rankins would be nice. Only wants about $4 million a year. A good power rusher. We might come back to Sheldon Rankins. There's Anthony Harris, the Washington Redskins. Sorry, Washington football team really wants him. Let's see what kind of, if we offer this, how many points it'd be. 92. Thank you for your services. I do appreciate it, but we will be seeing you on that one. Defense, I swear there was more defensive tackles the last time we did this. Must not have been year 1, I guess. Really, all there is Sheldon Rankins. Godchaw's not bad. 26 years old, star development. More of a run stopper, though. We could do what we did the last time and trade for BJ Hill because he did pretty well for us. Let's throw Marcus Williams an offer. So all we're going to do in free agency is go after Marcus Williams. We can only afford to do the same amount of a bid as the Patriots. So this could get interesting. We might lose out. There wasn't many defensive tackles available outside of Sheldon Rankins that I would have liked to brought in. Godchaw's not bad, but if anything, we can try and do what we did the last time, trade for BJ Hill. He did well for us, and then go from there. So we will sim this here and see if we got him. So we will go ahead and advance to week 2, see if we were able to lock up Marcus Williams. I doubt it. Yeah, he most likely went to the Patriots. Whew, that's tough. And it looks like Rankins is already gone. Clinton Dix wouldn't be bad. 28 years old. Maybe like a 2-year deal would be about as much as I would do. So we put in an offer for Clinton Dix. We have the money to bump it up quite a bit. I'm not going to. Somebody's got like over 100-point bid for him. If he decides to take my 91-point bid, more power to... Okay, he did. All right. Apparently, Clinton Dix is drinking whatever Kool-Aid we got around here in Minnesota. So he took our offer over like 100-point offer. So taking a little bit less money to hopefully go for a ring. 5th-year option on Mike Hughes. Yeah, might as well, I guess. We want to keep him around. So we will pick him up for a 5th year. Other than that, what I was going to say, because I wasn't expecting to get is that we're just going to sit pat in free agency, go from there because there's not much left, and just work on our draft. We got him, so we're still going to stay put, go to the draft. Free safety is pretty locked up for the next few years. I think it was a 2 or 3 year deal. So he'll be about 31 by the time it's up. We'll be looking for a replacement then. So yeah, going into the draft, we still have quite a few holes overall. Offensive line still intact. We're going to want to look for a left tackle because Reef just regressed. Kirk Cousins regressed also. We're going to want to look and see if there's any quarterbacks. I don't think we have a high enough pick to really get one that would be a difference maker. So we'll probably try for that next year. I'm more worried about our defense, specifically defensive tackle and right outside linebacker. So if we can find some help there, and then we can turn our attention to those other positions, kind of go from there. Anthony Barr, nice to see up to his superstar development. That is new, so that is very good. Other than that, kind of glancing over the roster, I don't see anybody who went up. Obviously, Justin Jefferson up to a star. That is what he is regularly after his hidden development. So that's good. So yeah, that's kind of the plan for the draft. I'll catch up with you after the draft. If we got any like super stellar picks during, I will be sure and kind of do a little promo for it. But other than that, we'll just check the draft recap. Please, no normal developments. So the Arizona Cardinals, who already have Kyler Murray, decided to take Eli Bowers, number 1 overall, a quarterback. Bold strategy. Bobby Samuels is the one we want. Check our offers, see if there's anybody that wants to move up that would kind of help us fill out our draft spot this year. Nothing I want to see, because you got to keep in mind we don't have a 2nd round pick this year. So if we did, maybe make something work. But extra 3 and 4 this year, no. Cleveland wants to give up a 2nd and 2/3 this year. Man, that's actually not bad. 2nd and then back-to-back 3rd. The guy I want, looking at everything right now, is Bobby Samuels here. Big defensive tackle, 22 years old, 315 pounds. Got a 1st in the 40. Just had a great combine. I would probably argue the best defensive tackle in the combine. We got him. We also have a couple quarterbacks. The best one went at the top of the board for sure. I think that we got to go with that defensive tackle there. That's definitely our biggest need. See if we can make a good pairing between Michael Pierce and Bobby Samuels. So the number 1 player in the draft is a 79 overall defensive tackle, Bobby Samuels out of Auburn. Only normal development. They got to do something to change this, because there's no way a guy like this isn't going to be a star, minimum. And if he's the number 1 player in the draft, you're telling me that he has normal development? I'm sick, bro. So we got the number 1 best player in the draft. He'll be a stud for us. He's going to start right away. Got plenty of opportunity to upgrade. his development through play. Hopefully he earns it. Disappointing to see though. So going through the second round, we don't have a pick as we discussed. So halfway through the third round is when we'll be back up. Be interesting to see who's still here. Right outside linebacker is definitely our biggest need. In case you're ever wanting to get a decent offensive lineman out of a Madden generated draft, just don't even try. Just don't even try. It's not worth it. They're all booty. So coming out of the draft after year one, it was definitely up and down. Our first pick, which you already saw, was Bobby Samuels here at number 16. Ranked the number one player in the class, but has normal development somehow. So we're still trying to figure out how exactly that works. But the guy's got great stats. He'll be a beast for us. Instant starter day one. Didn't have a second round pick, but then in round 3, we turned around and took wide receiver Zach Palmer. Also normal development 72, but he's got some pretty good stats, so he'll be a good slot receiver for us. We'll move Justin Jefferson outside. Zach Palmer is more natural fit. He's 5'9". It's going to be in the slot, I believe. That's his archetype down there, so he'll be pretty good for us down there. And give us 2 big bodies on the outside with Jefferson and Thielen. In the 4th round, we took middle linebacker Dante Starks with the idea of moving him to right outside linebacker. Still could be a possibility, but we did take one later on. That might be just fine. We'll have to kind of double check. But he does have 84 speed, 91 acceleration, 86 agility. Not a bad pick at all, if I do say so. And then we took a defensive tackle that was projected to go in the 5th round, but had first round talent just to build depth. Gilbert Bolware here, pretty good player. He's a 72 overall, normal development. We got all normals again. It's just the norm. So, but he's got good stats. Definitely will be 3rd or 4th string right behind our 2 main starters. I'm happy with that pick. I mean, that's a great. If that guy's on my bench, we're doing all right. Then we took a left tackle. We didn't really have scouted Richard McMullen. Shouldn't have taken him. There's nothing really good about him. But 4th round, that stung a little bit. And then 5th round, we took the right outside linebacker, Trevor Bartlett, 68 overall, the same as that middle linebacker we took. So we'll just kind of take a look and see how each one plays out in the position as far as overall wise. His coverage stats are not good. So if that's what we really need, then we might not look to him, but we'll have to take a look. We tried to take a quarterback also in round 5. He ended up being bad. So he's not going to make it anywhere. His stats, I didn't even look. I was so disappointed. He had 91 throw power. His accuracy is shit. Everything else is not good. Maybe put him on the practice squad, see how he does, but I don't see much coming out of Emmett Donaldson out of Illinois State. And then 6th round, we kind of just followed suit. Best thing about this draft was we needed defensive tackles. We got defensive tackles. It was loaded. We got this guy in the 6th round, projected to go in the 7th, but had 2nd round talent. So again, I mean, this is more like a best player available that I could see from my standpoint because my draft board was kind of shot at that point. And then lastly, we took Frank Thomas. He is 6'6", 317, 84 strength. He's got better pass block than our left tackle, so we might be able to slide him over there, see how he does. But we don't have an immediate left tackle replacement. Kind of sucks, but these Madden drafts suck for offensive linemen unless it's the 1st round. Even then, it's questionable. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Part 2 will be coming out here in a day or 2. We got it all hooked up, ready to go. Just need a little bit of editing on it. You're going to want to stay tuned, see how this finishes up. It's pretty interesting to say the least. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. Be sure to check me out on Twitch. The follow link's right here underneath in the description. Be sure to drop a follow. If you haven't already, like the YouTube video, subscribe, turn on the notifications, all that fun jazz. Really helps me out, helps us get going, helps consistently bring new content to the channel. And I will see you guys soon with part 2.